All right, now I'm going to walk through the initial setup for the input sequence and Morse code puzzle modes. It'd be a good idea to have your quick start guide or manual next to you so you can follow along with the setup steps. So first thing we got to do is power it down. Normally you'd have a barrel connector plug here that you'd pull out, but in this case we've got it wired in here, so I'll pull that out. I'm going to hold the 3 button down and power it back up. Just got to keep holding that button until the mode light starts blinking blue like that. Okay, now it's showing the current state of the first blue step. So it's showing 1. So if you look at the quick start guide, that's input sequence. So if you wanted to change it, you would just use this knob to move the light around. So we want it on input sequence, so that's fine. So now you hit 3 to go to the next step. It starts blinking 2 times. Number of inputs. In this case, we have 6 buttons connected. So we're going to use 6. Number 3 is the output 1 mode. This is where you choose if you're using a mag lock, if you wanted to have the emergency stop feature enabled, if you wanted to unlock when the puzzle fails, or if you don't want it to. You can also tell if you just want the output to turn on when they succeed, or if you just want it to pulse on like you'd use with a solenoid latch. So we're going to choose the mag lock with no e-stop option, so we'll do 3. Now we'll go to next step. Number 4 is the auto reset timer. In this case, we'll set it to automatically reset after the sound stops playing. So that is option 2. The last one is the game timer. We're not going to use that, so we're just going to leave it at 1, which is off. Now, this is where you got to pay attention. So the input sequence and Morse code puzzles have a few extra steps. So as indicated by this green blinking light, we have to find the table for the input sequence and Morse code. Make sure you're using the right one because they each have their own table. And jump down to that table. So 1 green blink is the fail on input timeout option. So this is the timeout between presses. So if you want, say, like a maximum 2 seconds between one button press to another, you would just slide this up to 2 seconds. If you wanted it to be 6 seconds, you could go to 6 seconds. If you don't want any limit at all, you would just leave it at 1. This one works a little bit differently. So this is the option setup. This one is a toggle option. Okay, so in this case, you can see the little light flashes briefly. When we turn the dial, we get to choose between 1 and 4. So number 1 is fail at code length. So if we have a 4 input code and they press any wrong 4 buttons, it will immediately fail the attempt at the puzzle solution. So like to turn one of the options on, you would just hit record. So that option would be enabled. Light 2 is fail on bad input. So that would immediately fail the puzzle if they hit any wrong button. That's sort of a way, if you want them to be able to figure out the puzzle solution by trial and error, you could turn that one on. All right, so they just toggle off and on by tapping the record. Number 3 allows simultaneous input. So that's if you want them to be able to hold 2 buttons at the same time for one of the puzzles. And number 4 is RFID chatter filter. So some relays on the certain RFID setups, they sort of chatter. They go click, click, click when you put the tag close to it or remove it. So if you enable that, that basically tries to filter out that clicking so it doesn't become multiple inputs in your sequence. All right, so now after that's all said, we'll just fail at code length. We'll enable that one. So there we go. Fail at code length is now enabled. So the next step would be to record the solution. So you just tap record. I just press the 4 buttons there and stop recording. Now, if you repeat those sequences, done. So that would be the setup of an input sequence puzzle. We have sounds in there already. For you to add sounds, what you would do at this point is you would take your card out, go to a computer. You'll see a bunch of folders on that card with README files in there explaining where to put your sound files. All right, and that's it.